Hello, I'm Takoijan. Welcome to the video. Today I will be covering what the best weapon you can get in Terraria before defeating your first bosses. But before I actually start talking about that, I will note that this is a very unpolished script, as it is longer than one of my normal videos, and I have not had as much time to practice. Yeah. So now that that is done, I will actually talk about what I am going to talk about. Which weapon is the best weapon to get before you defeat a boss in Terraria. I will be covering 8 weapons in total, 2 from each class. Though I would not recommend using some of these classes early game. First off, we have the Diamond Staff. The Diamond Staff is one of 2 representatives of the magic class preboss, and it is one of the best for its relatively easy use and decent DPS. It reaches around 50, there we go, when I'm actually hitting the dummy. Another representative of the magic class, and the last one I'll be talking about for today, is the Wand of Sparking. Yeah, the Wand of Sparking is okay. That's really all I have to say about it. It uses almost no mana, but it has the lowest DPS of this video in 40. I mean, this is just a weapon that you get from a wooden chest, but there's really no better option to cover other than the Diamond Staff. However, if you can get around this weapon's shortcomings, it is an incredibly fun and effective weapon to use. An honorable mention for the magic class is the Water Bolt. Why? Because the Water Bolt is really good. Really, the only downside of it is the fact that you can barely ever get it before you defeat your first boss, as it's almost impossible to find one at the dungeon entrance. Now next, I will be covering the ranged class, which also has 2 representatives, the Mini Shark and the Boomstick. Now, the Mini Shark is probably the best bet if you're not good at Terraria and you want to fight a boss. It has incredibly consistent DPS, ranging from around 100 to 115 damage per second. This is because of its fast fire rate. It fires so fast that you're getting consistent critical hits and consistent normal hits. Its main benefit, as I said before, is consistency and easy use, because this is really easy to use as a weapon. Its main downside is that it's absolutely horrendous against armored foes, which means it's almost impossible to defeat the Queen Bee with a Mini Shark. Next, for the ranged class, we have my favorite weapon of today, the Boomstick. The Boomstick is good. That's really all I have to say. It has inconsistent but amazing DPS, ranging from 100 to 170, which is easily the highest range and potential of the entire playthrough. Yeah, other than that, the Boomstick is a bit hard to use as it's a shotgun and it has slow fire rate, but it's really fun and I would recommend this over basically anything else. Now, an honorable mention for the ranged class is the Musket. Why? Because the Musket is ridiculously easy to obtain and does very respectable damage. I just feel that there are better options than the Musket. Though I usually do end up using a Musket if my well, it has a jungle far away from spawn, or I don't have a lot of money. Now, I will be covering the melee class and its two representatives, the Thorn Chakram and the Ball of Hurt. The Thorn Chakram is well, good. It's another one, it's a weapon obtained in pretty much the same way as the Boomstick, going into the jungle and messing around. At close range, it does around 100, and at long range, it does around, like, 70. At its maximum range, however, it does 50. There's not really much to say about the Thorn Chakram. It's a relatively basic weapon. It does 26 melee damage, it hits very hard, and it's easy to use. Basically, the melee class is equivalent of a Mega Shark. Now, for the second and final representative of the melee class, I have the Ball of Hurt. This is included purely because, one, the melee class really doesn't have too many great options for pre-hard mode, pre-boss, and two, it does a lot of damage. For the honorable mention for this category, for melee, I was going to cover the Platinum Short Sword, because I really like the Platinum Short Sword. It does very respectable DPS. Until I noticed, but that was only because I couldn't find the Katana, the best swinging melee weapon that you can get pre-boss. The Katana's main standout is its natural auto-swing, meaning that if you hold down and click, your sword will swing continuously, rather than every other melee weapon that you get pre-hard mode. Now, for the last class that I'll be covering today, I will be covering Summoner. Now, Summoner, okay. I have two weapons here, the Snapthorn and the Flink Staff. The first weapon I will be covering, the Snapthorn, I'm covering because there is just no better option than the Snapthorn. Like, this weapon is good. There's no other option to it. It doesn't have a replacement. There's nothing with the same power level added as it. Snapthorn. The only other whips that you get pre-hard mode is the Leather Whip, which is significantly weaker than the Snapthorn, and the Spinal Tap, which is significantly stronger. So it's really the only whip you're going to want to use against your first few bosses as a summoner. And for the summoner, I have the Flink, and for the summon, I have the Flink Staff. Why? Because it's basically a slime staff, but easier to obtain and fluffy instead of bouncy. Now, for the final weapon that I will be covering is another honorable mention, the Vampire Frog Staff. This is overall a stronger weapon again in general, but it is ridiculously obscure and difficult to obtain. And so I decided to keep it in as honorable mention instead of having it as one of the main representatives. Well, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say for today. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you feel that this video was more just stating statistics and junk, leave your opinion in the comments. And well, this is Decoy, signing out.